So hello everyone, the Asia Cup is over, thank God. I'm so happy. Look, this tournament has been an absolute disgrace. In all my years as a cricket administrator, I have not seen the kind of circus and shenanigans that went on in an event of this stature. Guys, you're talking about the Asia Cup. It's not a small event. This event has been on for decades. The Asian Cricket Council was set up for a reason. People have forgotten what that reason is. People forget history. They forget what the Asian Cricket Council stands for. You should firstly understand, if you're playing in the Asia Cup stands for certain things. So when you play the Asia Cup, you are bound to abide by those standards, those values. When you participate in the Olympics, you are bound by the Olympic Charter. If you violate that charter, what do you think will happen? The consequences are serious. So when teams play in the Asia Cup, they have to go back and understand where they are playing. Why was the Asian Cricket Council formed? Why was the Asia Cup? Guys, you have to understand this first of all. Otherwise, you shouldn't play the Asia Cup. Say that, look, I am not going to abide by this charter. I don't agree with it. This was done 50 years ago. I don't agree. I'm not going to play because I either want this charter to be changed or I'm not going to play. So, do they even know why the Asian Cricket Council was formed? They don't. Or they're certainly acting like they don't. So for a start, they have to understand. Otherwise, there's no point continuing with the Asian Cricket Council, right? Form a new body which doesn't have all these values, right? Which is formed for a different reason, to make money. Let's have a tournament to make money. Fine. No issues with that. At least that's clear. So we'll behave as we want. We're only here together in the same room so that we can make money. Nothing else. Everything else is up for grabs. How you act, how I act. We make money, we then go away. That's not why the Asian Cricket Council was formed. It was formed to bring nations together. It was formed to spread cricket in Asia. It was formed to create happiness, to create joy, to create camaraderie, to have a sense of competition, right? It seems to have all gone out of the window. It's a pity. It's a real pity. It actually calls into question the future of the Asian Cricket Council. I think a new body should be formed. I honestly think so. One that says that we are here to make money, that's it. So, secondly, let me just go through a list of a few things that I jotted down. Started this whole Andy Pycroft affair. Completely unnecessary. Once Andy Pycroft gave his explanation, it should have been the end of it. It should have just been the end of it. After that, the PCB went, complained. They wanted him removed. The ICC carried out its review, and once they got the results of that review and told the PCB and the BCCI, that should have been the end of it. But no, it didn't end there. The PCB filed complaint. They didn't want him to officiate in any of their matches, or they wanted him banned from the event, removed from the event altogether. No. And then this whole video gate that took place. in a restricted area. And then that video, even though it was mute, was released on social media. I mean, that is a confidential meeting. It's a private, confidential meeting. And you release it on social media? Come on. Okay, then, after the first match, handshakes, no handshakes. But here, look, my point here is, if your opponent doesn't want to shake your hands, that's fine. That is their prerogative. They have every right not to shake your hands. It may be against the spirit of cricket. It may be against sportsmanship. It may be bringing politics into the game, but you cannot force them to shake your hand. It doesn't say anywhere in the laws of the game. It's in the spirit of the game. And cricket is a gentleman's game. We talk about the spirit of cricket. I myself have made videos on the spirit of cricket. The unique spirit of cricket, that's what they say. And all of that just thrown out of the window. Who cares about the spirit of cricket? Who cares about what people have done to make cricket what it is, the finest game in this world, what it stands for? Do people know what cricket stands for? Do they know? What are the values of cricket? It's not called a gentleman's game for nothing. That press, so coming back to the handshake. If someone doesn't want to shake your hand, so be it. Move on. It doesn't mean that you're so upset that you don't turn up for the post-match presentation. Take it on the chin and move on. And then complaints being filed and social media. And then the press conference of the Indian captain. That's not on. That is directly bringing politics into sport. Yes, the ICC took action. But come on, guys. This is not on. As the captain of an international team, what kind of an example are you setting? Bringing politics into sport in front of the entire audience. That is not on. It's also provocative. Given the circumstances, given the highly charged atmosphere, it's bound to have a reaction. Not on. And then fielders making all sorts of actions on the field, political actions, ICC hearings being held, players being fined, being warned. Unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. And then Pakistan potentially refusing to take the field unless the referee Andy Pycroft isn't removed from their game. Why? The ICC has cleared him. He's scheduled to officiate that match. So the match was delayed by 1 hour. Players getting on the bus, getting off the bus. They've been told to go back to their rooms. They've been told to come down to the lobby. The entire world is waiting to see what happens. Complete uncertainty. Spectators are at the ground. Broadcasters. Last minute negotiation. Is this the way you prepare for a match? Is this the way? Not on. Match delayed by an hour for the final. I'm not going to refer to the appeal for obstruction, the run-out appeal by India, because I thought that was not on. and that was completely against the spirit of the game, but I'll let that go because that's a cricketing matter. It was something on the field. I think he felt that the batsman may have deliberately obstructed the field, and he appealed. Okay, fine, fair enough. A lot of people wouldn't have done that, but they did. Fine, it's within the laws of the game. He has every right to do that. Okay. But then at the prize giving ceremony, they refused to take the prize from the chairman of the Asian Cricket Council. I repeat, from the chairman of the Asian Cricket Council, not a named individual. By not accepting that trophy from the chairman of the Asian Cricket Council, you are actually completely undermining or not accepting that position, that chair. What is this? It is not a named individual. It is a position. The gentleman is there because he is in that position. And to refuse, has this ever happened before in international sport? I would be very interested to know when such a thing last happened for political reasons. Would they do that at the Olympics? Would they do that at the Commonwealth Games? But they're doing it at the Asian Cricket Council, at the Asia Cup. Right? I thought this was a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. It is completely undermining a lot of what cricket stands for. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Question I want to ask is, with all this happening, who was in charge? Who is in charge or was in charge during this event? It's the tournament director. Where was the tournament director? When anything happens at an event, it is the responsibility not of the chief executive of the ICC or the chairman of the Asian Cricket Council. It's the tournament director who gets involved and makes sure that prompt, decisive, immediate action is taken to preserve the sanctity and integrity of the event and of the sport. Where is the tournament director? Who was the tournament director? And where was he? Where's his statement? Normally the tournament director will issue statements. I haven't seen one from the tournament director in his capacity as tournament director. You know, it really calls into question so many things. So many things. Governance, authority, so many things. The future of the Asian Cricket Council. There's a Women's World Cup coming up next month. It's starting in 2 days. Pakistan is going to be playing India. The Pakistan women are going to be playing the Indian girls in Colombo, I believe. What's going to happen there? You know, look, the result is immaterial. But and then next year is the T20 World Cup in India and Sri Lanka. What's going to happen there? Right? I really hope that the ICC, in their capacity as the gatekeepers of our great game, the governors of our great game, you know, the flag bearers of our great game, I hope they carry out an independent review of everything that happened at this event. Independent, unbiased review by a professional organization and come out with, and that should be made public. Because all of this happened in public, in front of the entire, and by the way, talking about the media played its role as well in flaming the situations. I heard the media on both sides, right? It really was a disgrace, the role the media plays in inflaming the situation. The sort of talk I heard, the sort of language I heard, I couldn't believe it. Have we fallen to that level? We have, because I heard it. And I was so sorry. I was so sorry to hear the sort of thing that I heard. It makes me sad. Not angry. At this point, I'm not angry. I've seen a lot over my years as a cricket administrator. But it makes me sad that the game that we all love, the game that binds us all together, has fallen to this depths, where you've got icons, legends flaming the situation, role models flaming the situation. It's a shame. It's a pity. But ICC, please carry out an unbiased, independent review of what happened and make that report public and discuss it at your next board meeting. This is the kind of thing that should be discussed openly at board meetings. Yes, you can discuss your boundary line catches and how many people should be inside the ring and all of that. What ball should be used, and there should be 2 white balls. But please govern. Show some leadership, show some governance, and address this situation. Cricket has a lot of issues right now that need to be addressed, and someone has to take charge. Anyway, I think I've spoken for a very long time, so I'll end here. But all I can say is I'm happy that the Asia Cup is over, and I just hope that something good comes out of this. Maybe this will shake people up and say that this should not happen again. This is a disgrace. This has brought our great game into disrepute. Okay? Till next time.